The Outlanders Journey. Tier 1, Level 0. Chapter 4. Errol, you spend your free time helping Ark rebuild his physical strength. While he's still unable to extend his wings, and his left arm will need more time to heal on its own, he's making good progress on his lower body. He's now able to take long walks through the garden, and so, under the advice of High Priestess Vavina, you've begun to teach him the diurnal forms in private. It's kind of like your aerial maneuvers, you say, demonstrating a simple lunging form with a wooden scimitar. You both have just eaten a light lunch, and the temple grounds are empty. The conscripted soldiers from the other day have left. You grip the sword in your hand, holding it by your waist as though it is sheathed. You take a single step forward, extending your right arm out with the blade pointed ahead. This is a simple move, but it demonstrates the fundamentals of the art. You're adjusting your weight and balance based on the flow of your body. Okay, I got it, says Ark, holding his smaller wooden sword. He takes a breath and mimics your movements. A little wobbly at first, but you offer some adjustments to the width of his stance and the straightness of his back, and he gets it on his second attempt. After a few more days, he is able to hold more complex poses for prolonged periods of time. You demonstrate how to balance on one leg while holding the sword out to the side. This move, Form 25, is the Everlight's most renowned pose, as her most famous painting features her holding this stance. When Ark almost immediately nails even this pose, you decide he's ready to practice with the group. You invite him to join the next morning. Don't force yourself, you say. For any forms you can't do yet, I'll let you know how to make the adjustments. Thanks, Ari. You look forward to knocking on his door and helping him get ready each morning. What little time you have together is so precious now. When you leave in a month, you're not sure where Ark will go or what he will do. Ark stands in the back row, starting out a step behind the rest of the group, but it doesn't take him long to get used to the positions. This is the difference between an athlete and a commoner. He's spent his entire life training, so picking up other physical skills comes to him naturally. The days pass, and he begins to add his own flares, doing a little spin for fun as he transitions between forms. You're proud to see him putting in his own theatrics like he used to. He's learning to be himself again. As practice winds down, the other acolytes catch their breaths and prepare for the next activity. Ark has hardly broken a sweat. I'll be honest, it looked kind of boring at first, but it's pretty relaxing, says Ark. The extra bonus is, if I mess up, I don't plummet 100 feet down. It's not meant to be so physically intensive, you say. It used to be used for combat, but now it's a time between you and the Everlight. Feel the energy within your own body, and channel that to your connection with her. Do you feel a strong connection to the Everlight when you do the forms? You're probably the best at them. Even you're not sure what this bond is exactly supposed to feel like. High Priestess Vavina has described it as a warmth that starts from within the heart and spreads to the extremities, but the most you've felt is the heat of the rising sun. It's hard to say. I spend so much time making sure everyone else is keeping up that I'm not always focused on my own connection with the Everlight. Oh, that makes sense. You have other things on your mind. What about you? Have you felt anything during the forms? Says Ark. Sometimes I feel inspired and I'll add a little coney-flavored twist to it. You laugh. I've noticed. It looks good. It's like a warm feeling, says Ark. Like your heart is getting a hug. Yeah? It's surprising that he's already experiencing this. It's like someone's telling me to keep going, except it's not exactly a voice that I hear. I don't know how to describe it, but you know what I mean, right? In just the 5 days that he's been learning the forms, has he already formed a bond with the Everlight? How is that possible? Even High Priestess Vavina said she didn't sense that link until she mastered each move. You look into his eyes. Something about him has changed. Not so much his physical appearance, so much as a presence. He seems to be almost glowing. Ark, have you made a connection with the Everlight? Ark blinks, then shrugs. To be honest, so much has been happening in the last few days. It's hard to know what's going on. But have you received any visions from her? Any signs? From behind, you hear 2 quick stamps of High Priestess Vavina's walking stick on the ground. There is a familiar, stern expression on her face. She gestures for you to come over. You wonder if you messed up a chore today. One moment, you say. Ark nods. Oh, do you want to do the meditation session with us? You ask him. Yeah, he says. Great. Ask one of the acolytes where the extra mats are. Got it. You'll be leading it, right? Of course, just like before. But then you immediately hear High Priestess Vavina's announcement. Sister Errol and I will be busy for the rest of the morning. Please lead yourselves through today's meditations. Thank you. The acolytes whisper among themselves before they continue setting up their mats and pillows in a circle. You shuffle over to the High Priestess. Is something wrong? She motions for you to step away, a finger on her lips. You lean over, lending an ear, and she whispers, Brother Finuil has just returned. Unfortunately, he was not able to acquire the ointment. What? You say, a little too loudly. Quiet yourself, child. I'm sorry. Brother Finuil and I will be in my office. Bring Ark along so we can discuss our options with him. You turn to Ark. He's swaying awkwardly, looking to see where he can get a mat and sit with the acolytes. Sister Diaris runs up to him and leads him by hand to an empty spot in the circle. Why wasn't Brother Finuil able to get the ointment? You ask. I thought we had made a deal with the religious council. As I understand it, most of New Everlon's resources are going to their westward travelers. They are in short supply of healing potions, so they have opted to provide the ointment instead, and now they are running out of that as well. Then we can trade our healing potions for the ointment, can't we? Look how many of their soldiers and citizens we're housing every night. Once again, High Priestess Vavina puts a finger to her mouth. I understand your frustration, my dear, but the situation is complicated. It is nearing winter, and New Everlon is trying to push as many people out as possible before the weather turns. We are currently trading our potions for other essentials. But it's only 1 dose of the ointment that we need. Yes, and a single dose is more potent than anything our potions can do. They know this. We know this. You've heard this many times already, but you still don't understand why the temple is so beholden to New Everlon's whims. You've tried your very best to suppress your grievances against these guests. Rude, callous, prejudiced people who barely cloak their contempt for you and the other acolytes. You can sense it in their eyes, the way they ogle you. They have mocked the Everlight right in front of you. They hold no regard for personal boundaries, interrogating your true place of birth, conversing slowly as if you don't know their language, grabbing your hair, speaking down to you with the assumption that you are a servant and not a candidate for the chosen. On one occasion, a journalist came to you and proudly read his words out loud, describing you as a peculiar human drow who escaped the shackles of her origins for spiritual salvation through a deity of similar dark complexion and appearance, now embracing her true calling while leveraging her innate predilections as a servant. You were so flabbergasted that you couldn't muster a response. You shake your head. If they won't uphold their end of the bargain, then we have no reason to allow their travelers to stay here free of charge. Their citizens are making a mess of our temple. A look of incredulity comes over High Priestess Vavina's face, and you instantly regret your words. Sister Errol, it is not the citizens of New Everlon who have not upheld their end of the agreement, so it is not right for us to punish them. We do not turn away anyone who seeks the warming fires of the Everlight. If a wayward family who has gone for days without food and shelter enters our gates, we do not reject them on the basis of their nationality. I'm sorry, you say. You can see the disappointment on the High Priestess's face. These thoughts are unbecoming of a true chosen. You know your desire for petty forms of retribution can get the best of you. Patience and forgiveness, the greatest virtues of the Everlight, also happen to be the most difficult ideals for you to achieve. Still, you wish, sometimes, even once, that she would do more to stand up for you, to defend you. You know you should have thicker skin than this. You should be able to handle all sorts of people, and yet you can't help but feel completely deflated by the passive-aggressive derision of some of the worst guests. All High Priestess Vavina has done recently for you is quietly relieve you of your hospitality duties, which only indicates that you failed her even more. Brother Finuil has sent letters to the INA and the Mystrians for aid as well, says High Priestess Vavina. But we believe the chances that they have what we need are low. You nod. The Mystrians are still unresponsive, are they not? You ask. High Priestess Vavina sighs. Will Sister Fimas help? She has already written her own letters, but she has stated she does not believe it will go through. Our only hope is that the INA has resources to spare, but with winter coming, I believe they are in short supply as well. Not to mention they are already donating so much food to us. It would be difficult to expect more from them. For most of your life, you've only had a tangential understanding of the politics at play around you. Since the temple has always taken a neutral stance between the three nations, you've believed yourself to be above such trivial matters. Only recently has High Priestess Vavina involved you in these external affairs. It turns out that because the nations are in conflict with one another, this temple's reliance on each one for different resources can present major problems if it is caught in the middle. Never would you have guessed that Ark's recovery would be hindered by such squabbles. What should we do then? You ask. Bring Ark to my office, and we will speak with him further. He will need to hear the truth as soon as possible. It is not right to keep him waiting. High Priestess Vavina pulls away from you. She nods a single time at Ark before she turns back to the main temple doors. Her cane clacks on the stone pavement. The meditation has just begun. Today, Brother Gavel is leading the group. He chants slower than you do, and his voice is deep and hypnotic. When he breathes out, his long gray beard flutters. You tiptoe to Ark, whose head is bowed and eyes are closed. In his meditative state, he seems so peaceful, so undisturbed. Your beautiful friend, who has never once treated you differently from anyone else, who sees you past your appearance, past your title. Perhaps you can wait until the session is over to inform him. The temple doors open and close, and you know High Priestess Vavina and Brother Finuil are both waiting inside. You tap on Ark's right shoulder. His head perks up, and his eyes instantly light up when he sees you. High Priestess Vavina wants to see you in her office right now, you whisper. Oh, says Ark. Sister Diaris opens one eye, glancing over. Ark stumbles as he stands. You catch him and gently pull him up to his feet. You may never see him in his peak physical form ever again. Your eyes begin to grow hot. You blink rapidly to hold back your tears. Ready to go? You say. Ark nods to you, rubbing your back. It's okay, he whispers, and you know he's already figured it out. Slowly, you two make your way to the temple doors, arms interlocked.